Good evening. You are watching the APLCrafts podcast, a podcast about knitting and a little bit of crochet. I am filming outside of Nashville, Tennessee for anybody who's new here, and I am a yarn dyer, and you can find me on Etsy, and then for my socials you can find me on Instagram. I'm trying to resurrect my Facebook. It's a little slow, but it's going there. So how are you? How are you? I've had an eventful week. All of last week I had something going on. I had cat stuff going on. Of course I always have cat stuff going on. And I had a trip and a couple of events. So to get started, I'm going to just quickly go over some shop news, and then we'll get into a finish that I did and some yarn shopping and all that stuff. So for shop news, I have a coupon code going on for now until the end of the year. Sparkle Season 15, I'll write it down over here, saves you 15% on anything in the shop. And I also have reduced shipping, and I also have reduced international shipping. So go ahead and check that out if you want to for your holiday shopping. And that's pretty much it as far as shop news is concerned. I did put in some more sets, yarn sets and stuff, and you know, and some finished accessories and things for people who don't knit or crochet, or if you don't have time. Yeah. Kind of related, but not really. My dye channel, APLCraftsLazyDyeStudio. Just in case you're interested, I just finished this skein of yarn that currently does not have a name. I'm thinking about naming it Season's Greetings. I was going for a look and a theme that did not work out. And there's a whole story to that, and you'll see that video. I'm gonna put it up either Thanksgiving night or Black Friday, somewhere in that time frame. Usually I post dye videos on Friday, so it'll probably be Black Friday. But you know, just to give you an idea of what this colorway is, it will be listed in the shop sometime this week. But just so you can see the process, I'm mainly showing you this so that you can see the process, or the finished object rather, of that yarn. So it is a very vibrant, bright Kelly green. These are just my yarn ties I have not taken off yet, with some very fine speckling. So there's speckling of dark green and orange and blue and pink, so you can kind of see some of the fine speckling in there. And then the base is merino, nylon, and lurex. That's what that glitter is the lurex. There's some orange in there, some pink in there. Yeah, so if you want to see the process for that, you can go check that out. I will link that down below. So where do I want to start? I made a video a little bit earlier with my finished object. I finished the True Colors by Melanie Berg. So I'm going to put that photo, I'm going to put that video in there now so you can see that. So I'm trying something new with finished objects when it comes to shawls. I decided to put my finished True Colors by Melanie Berg on my mannequin. And I'm hoping this will help you see it better. But as I'm playing around with the camera, I'm not entirely sure. So you'll have to let me know in the comments if this is something that actually works for the podcast, or I should just go back to just doing everything in my corner and then just kind of holding it up. I may end up holding this up anyway. But, so this is what it looks like styled on a mannequin. It is an asymmetrical shawl. And it's got a lot of nice drape to it. It's got lace sections, which I will bring it to the camera, but it's got lace sections. And it measures out 70 inches, maybe. I just took it off the towels because I blocked my stuff on a towel yesterday. So yeah, I would say this is about 70 inches. So that's what it looks like. It looks really good on camera. I love this section here with the Malabrigo Anniversario, and then this black with lilac overdye Polworth. That's mine here. But I love this transition going from the Anniversario color blocks to it being contrast. And then I threw in that blue that we don't have a name for, and then just finished it off with that Malabrigo. So that's probably my favorite section right here. I knit this on a US 5. I used a 60-inch needle, which I thought by the time I got to the end here, I would have, you know, it would be fine. It was still a pain in the butt, kind of, to have to deal with all that needle. So every single time I'm finishing a row, I'm just like, all right, other end of the needle, let's bring it back. But at least it was there and it was available. So, you know, because if I had it on the 40, it would probably be a little more scrunched. So yeah, this blue I got at Smart Art Supply in Nashville, and it was on clearance, and I don't have a name for it. There's no ball band. But it starts off with that in this whole section. And then it goes into that. I wish I had another section of this blue here, and what I did was I wound off what I thought was going to be enough yarn to do this section and then go into this section here with a little bit more of a transition, and I didn't have enough for that because I wanted to make sure that I had enough to do this part here. And I ended up with so much more yarn. I had enough actually to do another 2 sections of blue here, but I didn't know that, and I didn't want to run out when I got to the end. So I mean, does it still look fine? Yeah, but I would have liked it if I had like at least maybe another section of blue here and then going into the anniversario, or another section here and then just kind of go anniversario blue, and then go into the anniversario. How many times can I say anniversario? But you know, it didn't happen that way. So this is what it looks like on me. My thought, because of these colors, is to wear this with that blue tunic that I just finished about a month ago. So this would be more for in the summer. I don't really have any winter knits that would go with this. That may change in the future, but for now. But like, you know, sometimes at night, depending on where you're at, like if you're going into buildings or events or anything like that, sometimes it's really chilly. And I know I've been caught a few times in the middle of summer here in Tennessee, just, you know, going to an event and then the building's just freezing, you know what I mean? And I actually needed a shawl. Sometimes a bar, I need to have a shawl. So it's been nice to have something to go with a summer tank top, tunic type thing. So this is what it looks like on. I have not actually tried this on before, so I'm still trying to fiddle with it and figure it out. Yeah, that's probably how I would wear it. I was hoping this would be a little bit more pointy, but it's not. That's okay. Sometimes I'll tie it down here if it's like falling apart, like not falling apart, falling off of me. But that's not an all the time thing. That's more like if I'm walking around a lot. If I'm just going to be sitting, then it would probably be drapey like this. Okay, so that is True Colors by Melanie Berg. I think she has a sale going on right now. Don't quote me on that. But I think by the time this gets put up Monday evening, sale might be going on, so you might want to check that out if you like any of her patterns. I think it's 15% or something. Anyway, so there you go. Yeah, so let me know if you like that format. In hindsight, I'm thinking I might not do that anymore, but if you like it, then I'll keep doing it. So let me know in the comments if you like me putting it on the mannequin and talking about it that way. It would only be for shawls. Okay, so the next thing I have going on is my Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer. And I'm in the middle of a row. I tried to, I'm holding 2 yarns. I'm alternating skeins. I'll tell you why in a minute. But I ran out. No, that's not it. I ran out over here. So I couldn't make it to the other end, so that's why I'm in the middle of it. Because I was going to try it on for you, but I have to wind up a whole nother skein of yarn in order to do that. And I have too much stuff on this table right now, so that's not happening. So this is the Campside Cardi. I am knitting this on a 5, I think, US 5. Of course, I can't see any of the thing. You'll have to just take my word for it. And slight modification if you're new and you haven't seen me talk about this. So once you get past all this raglan shaping over here, you start the eyelets on the back, right around here, just like you would for the Campside shawl. If you're familiar with that, there's actually I've got the Campside shawl right here, so you can kind of see. Give me a second. So the Campside cardi and the Campside shawl have the same design. So this is the Campside shawl. So what the cardigan does is it starts off with like this section here up top with like a lot of space in between the eyelets, and then you go down to this section and the eyelets are a little bit closer together, and then you get down here and then you have a whole bunch of eyelets down here. And then here, I don't think this was part of it. I think this was just something I did, and then I extended it because it wasn't long enough for me. But the whole point of the design are all these eyelets. And my modification for the cardigan is to not have any eyelets. I really just wanted the structure of that cardigan, and that's it. So I did play around with the idea maybe of putting some eyelets in there, and then I decided not to do that. So it's just going to be solid all the way down. And then if I remember correctly, there's ribbing on the bottom, and then obviously the arms, and then I think you pick up in the front here, so you could put buttons or whatever you want to do in the front. But I haven't gotten that far yet in the pattern. I'm still, obviously, like, it's going to be a while before I'm on the body. It's going to, my plan is to have it fall hip length. I think I have enough yarn for that. If not, I can always dye up more. But the reason why I'm alternating skeins is because several yarn dye videos back, I actually dyed up this color. And I did black with an over dye of a mix of lilac and blue. And so you can't see it unless you're in the sun and you're looking close. And even for me, sometimes I'm like, I haven't put it in the sunlight to go, okay, what, am I still doing the black or am I doing blue? And the reason why I say that is because last year I dyed up some black yarn on this, and I had some of it left over. So I'm incorporating that into this cardigan, which is why I'm alternating, because I don't want to have chunks of like the lilac and blue over dye and then chunks of the black. So I'm kind of having it mixed through the whole thing, because I only have 2 skeins of the black, and I've got 4 skeins of the black with the over dye of the lilac and blue. So even though it's really subtle, you'll be able to see it in the sunlight, and I didn't want that, so that's why I'm doing that. But yeah, that's as far as I've gotten. It's just all, it's straight stockinette for days and days. I have not touched this in like the last week and a half, up until like a couple days ago, because I've been working on a lot of socks, so which I'll be talking about in a second. So that's why there's not a whole lot of progress going on here. I think I've put on an inch since the last time you saw it. Maybe. Like, here's the armhole. Yeah, like I probably put on an inch. That's it. But hopefully the next time you see this, I'll have some more length, because December is coming, and in December I try really hard to make it a point to not cast on anything else and try to finish off anything that I've got that's actively on my needles. So that includes a lot of socks right now. I do have future plans, but yeah, I finished off the shawl, so that's cool. That actually gives me more time to get these socks done. And then I've got this cardigan, and then I have 1, 2, 3 pairs of socks that I'm working on. One of them is just for the shop. I've talked about that before, putting socks in the shop. And one of them is my Holly and Ivy socks by Charlotte Stone. And then another one's just a pair of socks for my mom, which I forgot to bring in here, so I'll have to do that. But I do have the Holly and the Ivy socks right in front of me, so I'm going to get that. Of course, I've got yarn balls just going everywhere, so that's going to be fun. Oh, my whole family's home, so you might hear the TV in the background. And for me, the TV is pretty darn loud, even though I got the door closed and it's in another room. So, but if you hear that, that's what's going on in the background. I'm all tangled here. Okay, so Holly and Ivy. So all of Charlotte Stone's socks are cuffed down, so of course I'm reversing it and doing toe up, because I am toe up all day 2 at a time, magic loop, that's how I roll. So this red, I don't remember the name of it. This beigey sparkly color here is Pink Champagne and Ice. That is a color that I used to have that is now discontinued. This green is mine, and it's in one of my couple of my sock sets in the shop. And then we've got the holly. These parts here on the garland are supposed to have baubles, and I'm not about that life. Now I was thinking when I get up here on the legs, I did just turn the heel. It's a short row heel. I was thinking up here for the rest of the leg, I might do baubles. So I really have to make the decision because I've got like one row left before I actually get to that part. I got to decide if I want to do the baubles or not. Because I don't want to do like the bottom row no baubles and then the top 2 rows baubles, because that just, to me, that's not going to look right. So I really got to decide if I want to do that or not. And I'm kind of thinking I don't want to do that. I don't think anybody's going to be looking that closely at my feet. You still get the gist of what's going on here. You know, it's like you don't really need that. It's kind of more for extra effect. So I'm thinking I'm not going to do that. I almost even didn't do color work on this whole sock. But once I got here, I was like, oh, I really want to, why am I doing color work on the sock? I decided to go with it anyway. It fits fine. I did try it. It's just, sometimes I don't want to do color work on the whole sock, and sometimes I do. There have been a few socks from Charlotte Stone that I've done recently that I have done the whole sock, just because I thought it was going to look good. But if it's something I can get away with just doing the color work on the top, like on the cuff, not the cuff, the leg, then I really sit and think about whether or not it's something I want to do. And for some reason, that just, maybe because it's my first pair of Christmas socks, and so I've decided that's why I'm doing that. I do have some Christmas socks saved in my bundles that are probably not going to be all over color work, even though that's what the design is. I'm probably just going to do them on the leg. But maybe that's why I did that subconsciously. I was just like, oh yeah. Anyway, so I'm doing this on a US 2.75 millimeter. I'm doing the largest size because I find that for me and my tension, no matter what I do, my tension's always on the tighter side. So I have to go with the largest size to get the sock to fit right. So what I end up having to do is usually with a vanilla sock, when I do the toe, I'll go to 62 stitches, which means I'm just doing 30, and then I add one in the middle in the front and then one in the middle in the back to give me that 62 stitches, because I find that 64 is just a little bit too big. But when I do color work, what I have to do is I'll do my 62, do a longer toe, so like, you know, usually my toe will end here. I'll do a little bit of a longer toe, and then like 2 rows before the color work starts is when I add the rest of those stitches in on both sides to get the count that I need to start that color work, because otherwise it would be too tight. Clearly this needs some blocking and it will get blocked and it'll be fine, because, you know, this is not my first time doing this with her patterns. So speaking of her patterns, she's got a whole new book out. It was on pre-order for a few months. I thought about getting it. I wanted to see what the rest of the patterns were that were in that book and what I may have already purchased, and, you know, kind of weighing out what do I have, what do I not have, how many patterns am I actually going to knit in this thing. I decided not to get the book because for me there's not enough patterns in the book to make it worth it for me. There's a whole lot of patterns I do like from her that are not in that book, and so I'll just grab them later. Right now I've got plenty of patterns to knit from, so I'm not in a rush to buy really anything at the moment, unless there's a really good sale going on. But even then, it's like I have a lot of patterns that I paid for that are just sitting there, so I'm really trying to keep that to a minimum and really trying to contemplate, okay, if I get a book, what does that come to for, like, as far as cost for each pattern. So like for instance with this 52 weeks of socks, okay, I had said $50 because there was a tag on there that said $50, but when I looked at my receipt, it actually was $25. So, and there's 11 patterns in there that I want to knit, so that makes it $2 a pattern or something like that. So I kind of weigh things out like that. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't remember how much the is the joyful color work. Either way, her new book. I think there's only like 4 or 5 patterns in that book that I wanted to knit. And I'm like, that doesn't make it worth it for me when I'm trying to slim down on how many patterns I'm buying and catch up and do all that stuff. But it's still cute, and I highly encourage you to get it because I've never bought pattern books in my life, and her pattern book right here is the first pattern book I ever bought. So I highly recommend her books if you like colorwork socks. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my mom's socks so you can see where I'm at with that. My socks that I bring with me are really the only projects that I keep in a project bag. So even though I have a bunch of project bags, I don't use them unless I'm taking them out of the house. Otherwise, I just have stations around my craft room where I just have my knits loose, and you know, I just kind of pick up whatever I feel like knitting at the time. I don't let cats in this room because I do also keep the yarn for my shop in this room, so cats do not go in here. I feel like nobody wants to have yarn with cat hair all over it. Even if we do own cats, nobody wants to have, most people don't want to have that. So the bag that I have that living in, she no longer makes bags, I don't think. But maybe you'll find her and she might, I don't know. But that's the tag. And it's a cute little zipper bag. It's got a couple of pockets and this green lining in here. And then this is my autumn bag, so I use this every autumn. But so the socks, I got this yarn at Skane Yarn Shop when I went to go visit my mom. She lives in Connecticut, but we drove to Rhode Island because it's like an hour and a half to get to East Greenwich from there. So we just made a day trip out of it. Took her and my niece. Anyway, ended up getting a bunch of Madeline Tosh. I had to remember what it was. So the blue is Midnight Pass. This is the label for Madeline Tosh. And what is this? Is this full on merino? Yeah, it's full on merino. Most of my socks I don't use nylon, just because it happens to be that way. I know that socks last longer with the nylon. I don't let a sock yarn or any kind of yarn related that doesn't have nylon stop me from making socks. I just know I'm going to blow through them faster, and I'm okay with that. My mom uses socks to sleep in. She does not wear them any other time. It's just to sleep. She has neuropathy, and apparently that seems to help with that. So the green color is Cardigan, and the blue color is Midnight Pass. And she liked the colors because they're really bright. And I decided to just have some fun with it and kind of swap them out and do whatever. So my plan, this is DK weight, by the way. My plan is to do Afterthought heels and then just do the green for the heel on the blue sock and then the blue on the heel for the green sock. And then do the same thing for the cuffs on each sock. I don't know how much yarn I'm going to have left. I might have enough to do shorties, or I'll have to play around with whatever I have here to finish off those other skeins of yarn. I'm just doing 1 pair of socks for her. She's got so many socks because I'm always giving her socks and she doesn't go through them fast enough. I think when I went up there I gave her a pair of socks, and I had also mailed her a pair of socks over the summer, and then she's gonna get these in about a month's time ish. So she's got plenty of socks, and if she needs more later, I'm always there to give her more. So that's what's going on with this. I put a couple of inches on it this week, just between driving to Knoxville, which I'll talk about in a minute, and going to the vet, as I always do. We'll talk about that later. So that's what's going on with those socks. So yeah, DK weight, US 4. I'm going to clean up, and then we could talk about future plans and Knoxville. So a little bit out of order. The beginning of the week, we went to Nashville Zoo, but I'll talk about that later. Middle of the week we went to Knoxville, and then end of the week I went to Cheekwood. So went to Knoxville. It's my first time there actually doing anything instead of just driving through. Really cute town. I'm gonna be honest, I really hope they don't get the influx that Nashville did, because it really had, if you've ever been to Nashville 15, 20 years ago, that's what Knoxville is today. It's cute, it's quaint, it's polite, it's, you know, charming, it's all the things that Nashville has lost with this huge influx that has come in, and I'm just being honest. I got here before that. Maybe I was part of that problem. I don't know. But I feel like if you're going to move to a place, you don't try to change a place, because you moved there for a reason. That's what I'm going to say about that. So Knoxville is everything that Nashville used to be. And I loved it. It was great. It was such a cute town. We went to the Museum of Art, which was free. I have not seen a free museum in a very long time. We certainly don't have that here in Nashville. Where I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, it may have changed. We used to have a couple of free art museums up there. I think I've seen a couple in St. Louis that were smaller. But yeah, this place was huge and beautiful, and it had tons of art, and it was wonderful. The Sun Sphere was right next to it. We did not get a chance to go there. They just reopened it last Wednesday, I think. Didn't get a chance to go in there, but we walked around Market Square. That was cute. There's a whole lot of little shops. It was decorated for Christmas. They have a little park in there that was all decorated for the holidays. And where else did we walk? We walked to the Old City, and that was only like a few blocks away, and did a little shopping there. I got some wine and stuff. I did visit 2 yarn shops while I was there. One of them was the Bees Knits. That was the first one we went to, and I'll show you what I got. So and I'll throw some pictures up here. I got a few pictures of both places. So the Bees Knits is over here, and her focus is on, or wanting to be, more local, which, you know, I think that's cute. Every single yarn shop you go into has their own uniqueness, their own flair, you know, what they want to focus on. And so that's why I really love going to yarn shops, because, you know, you get to see what is the intention of each shop, and they're all going to be different. You know, some of them are, you know, let's do more affordable yarns, more high-end yarns, more. I've got the one I went to in Paducah is a lot of fabrics, you know, things like that. So this one, her focus is on wanting to do a lot of local things. So she's got like this whole section with a few, it was like 2 or 3 local-ish dyers. One actually used to be in Nashville, because I recognized the label. And now the name is escaping me for some weird-ass reason. But yeah, and then, like, you know, a bunch of notions and stuff, stitch markers from local. And so, like, her focus is to put more local in her, which I think is great, because I know that a lot of yarn shops try to have a couple of local people in their shops, but it's nice to see the focus on bringing in more, because a lot of small indie dyers kind of get slept on, you know, like they get missed, you know. But anyway, so what I got, I try to keep it, I have a lot of yarn here, and I know it doesn't look like a lot of yarn to some of you. It's overwhelming to me, so I was trying to keep it down. I still want to support, but I was trying to keep the purchases down. But I got, there's going to be some crinkling, sorry. I got some stitch markers, a stitch marker. Oh, I got a sticker. I didn't know I got a sticker. I got a sticker. So if you want to look them up, I will link Instagram pages below, by the way. So this was from Britain Beads, handmade glass beads crafted in Knoxville. I thought those were cute, so I got that. And then I got a mini skein, because I don't normally go toward this color, but I just thought it was awesome. It's like this what's the best way I can put it? Are you familiar with like the cartoon Ninja Turtles? You know, like the toxic waste neon green, beautiful neonish green colors. That's what I got here. So it's got like some speckling here of like this darker, scummy, in a beautiful way, and speckly green with this neon. It's gorgeous. Gnomish Fiberworks, and this is 75% BFL wool with face luster and 25% nylon, 92 yards. I got that. And I got a fingering weight skein from Gnomish Yarns, also BFL into nylon, 75-25, 464 yards. And this is awesome. I have for the most part with my own yarn dyeing, I have a style and colors that I use and whatever. When I buy hand dyed yarn from other places, I'm not trying to copy, I'm putting it out there. I get things that I don't want to do, don't feel like trying to learn how to do, won't do, because otherwise, you know, I do my own, you know. So this falls under those categories. So it's got like these big splotches and speckles, as I like to call it, of like this foresty green and then orange and brown, and then here's some more of that scummy green that was on that that mini. And yeah, I have not actually taken this out of the ball band to look at it, but you know, it's gonna sit pretty on my shelf for a little while until I find the perfect sock project for it or color work project for it. So now that these are out, I'm going to put them on the shelf. And then after that, we went to Loopvilleyarn. That was more on the way to leaving Knoxville to go back home. Walked into that shop, completely different vibe, but also, like I said, every yarn shop is different and everyone's got like their own vibe and it's all awesome. So apparently there was a stitch night going on when I walked in there. So that was interesting. So you walk in and there's like a whole wall of, if I remember correctly, some Malabrigo, and then there's like Rowan, I think that was on here. And then there's like 2 different sections for local stuff. There's a section, I think it was all fingering, no, DK. And then there's another section, I think it was mostly fingering. And then there's a section for stitch markers, notions, stuff like that. There's a lot of people in there. I ended up getting into a conversation, and one thing led to another, and I ended up talking about my podcast and yarn dyeing, and they complimented my sweater. I was wearing the Andover by Jennifer Wood. I couldn't remember her name at the time, but I remember the name of the pattern. So yeah, that was a really cute shop. They also had what's it called? Barocco remix. There's a lot of that in there. I don't know, I was kind of paying more attention to the local stuff. That's what I try to do when I go into yarn shops, is hit up the local stuff. And the owner knew that, because apparently whenever people walk in there, like, you know, to get souvenir yarns, like, the local's here and the local's there. I was like, that was gonna be my next question. Thank you very much. So yeah, we had, you know, some chit chat, and so that was fun. Talked to quite a few people there. So what I purchased there was a Progress Keeper by Dyestone Design House. And it's just this cute little bird. It's got a little bit of blue in there. So I got that. And then I got a DK weight skein of yarn licensed to dye. Hand dyed in Morristown, Tennessee, which, shameful of me, I don't know where Morristown is. I gotta look on the map. I'm sure it's somewhere in that area, I just don't know where. But actually this is pretty loose. I might be able to take this off. I should probably tell you what the information is first. So the colorway is called Make Up Your Mind. Interesting, so there's a lot of colors here, so that's kind of cute. 75% merino, 25% nylon, 218 yards. That's a thickish DK. Okay. So we've got, that's showing up pretty well. Black, scummy, green, some blues and purples in there. Let's take this out since that was so easy to get out of the ball band. So that's a big section of black. Wow. Okay. Right on. And then it's going into this teal and green. Okay. And then it goes into more of that scummy green. With a little bit of touch of, I want to say it's a muted fuchsia, but you know, I'm not sure how it's showing up on your screen. And then we're going into blues and purples and greens. And that pop right there of like the orangey red. More aqua, and then going into black. So same thing, this will probably be socks or color work. Yeah, awesome all around. Great shops. I feel like there might have been a third yarn shop somewhere in the area. We just didn't have time. It was getting late, and we have a 3-hour drive back. So that was just, I was doing good to hit 2 shops in one day. So I don't normally get to have that happen. So I'm gonna put this back. Okay, so future knitting plans. Like I said, I'm not going to pick up any new projects if I can help it till the end of the year. I want to finish what I've got going on, with the exception of one project, which I'm gonna get more information on that before I bring it up. But I have one project that I am going to be working on, and that's it. Everything else, I just want to finish it. I want to start with as much of a clean slate as possible in January. But plans that I've got for knitting, I've got this Art Yarns Merino Cashmere, 80% Merino, 20% Cashmere. What is the name of this color? Does it say? Does it say? I don't think it says. It does not say. It is a rusty orange color. This is going to be fingered gloves. I made one pair of fingered gloves at the beginning of the year, and it actually really came in handy when I was working my baking job because I needed to move a whole bunch of boxes in the freezer, so it was really nice. I do not have that job anymore, but I do want to try to venture into fingered gloves, so this is going to be a set, and I think it'll go with some of my wardrobe. Hopefully. We'll see. But that's what this is going to be. So I got to wind this up today. No, I'm not winding this up today. I'm winding up yarn for my cardigan. Is that it? Yeah. I better not wind this up because it's just going to sit around for a month, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather wind and then use. Alright, but anyway, that's future plans. I do not have a pattern for that. What I'm thinking about doing is the normal ribbing that you would do on the wrist. And so I'm probably just going to pull some pattern that I've already done for mittens, and then, you know, work whatever I need to do for the thumb, put those stitches on hold, and then knit up to here, and then just kind of divide stitches that I'm going to need for each finger, because this one's going to take less stitches than these 3, and then this one. So I just kind of have to figure out the math for that, but I'll worry about that when I get there. Let me get information on so I can tell you the right stuff before I get into my next plans. Okay, new angle. My memory is shit, so what I decided to do is just read off the screen so that I can give it to you exactly how it is so that you know what this is. Okay, so my project that I'm going to be picking up probably sometime this week is a pair of socks, and there's a charity that just recently got started called Socks for Sam. And what the charity is, it's raising money for research on this thing called Vanishing White Matter Disease. And basically what it is, it's a genetic disorder that affects your nervous system, and then it affects you neurologically as well. Used to be that it just showed up in younger kids, but they're seeing that it can happen with older people too, with head traumas, infections, and stuff like that. So the Socks for Sam thing, from what I understand, he's in middle school, and he's got this thing about socks. So, I love socks. So if you are a sock knitter and you want to join this charity, there is an address. I will link it down below. But there's an address where you can mail in socks. You could do one pair of socks. You could do a single sock. You could do scrappy socks. It don't matter. They're just collecting socks, and they're going to be giving those socks away. And there's like a whole knit along that's actually going to happen in December. I'm not going to be taking part in the knit along. I'm just going to knit a pair of socks and send it. It gets sent to someplace in Greenwich, Connecticut. I'd have to really search for it. But yeah, that's what it's for. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'll show you those colors that I'm going to be working on. And I will link the website that talks more about Vanishing White Matter Disease if you want to get more information on that. And I'll also link the Instagram below for Socks for Sam so that you can see that as well. So let's go back to the knitting corner, and then I'll show you the colors I'm going to use for my pair of socks. So I wanted to pick the pair of socks to go fairly quickly, so I decided to go with DK weight, and I went through my scraps, and I've got two different dye lots, but they're very similar colors. Dark Unicorn, which I did have on a pre-order a few months ago, beginning of the year, something like that. It's a very intensive dye, which is why I don't have it in the shop, because it's a lot of work. But I had some of this left over, so I decided I was going to use this with, maybe stripe it with some of this Ichiban, which I sometimes have in the shop. So Dark Unicorn is black and fuchsia and blue and pink. And then Ichiban is different shades of purple with some splashes of blue in there. And then for toes and cuffs, what yarn is this? Brooklyn something Arbor. I don't know, I can't think of but that's what this is. So yeah, these are all my colors. So I'm thinking stripe these and then just do toes and cuffs with this. So I'm sure I'll have some yarn left over, but I'm just going to do a normal size sock, so 6-7 inches on the leg. Yeah, that's going to be my project that I'm casting on this week, hopefully, anyway. So that's it for knitting content. If you want to see some other stuff that I've got going on, beginning of the week I went to the zoo, and then the end of the week I went to Cheekwood. So life stuff. So beginning of last week, I think it was Sunday, yeah, I went to the Nashville Zoo. I haven't been there, gosh, since I moved here. So I've been here 20 years. I think the last time I was there was probably 18-17 years ago, something like that. And it was nighttime, so I couldn't even tell what they changed and what they didn't change and all that stuff. But they have this thing called Zoo Illumination, which, even though it's during the holiday season, is not necessarily holiday lights, right? So I'll throw some pictures and video up. So like, you get to the gate and it's like this, the whole theme is like, a lot of the theme is Chinese. So there's a Chinese dragon in the front, and then you go in and then you see like butterflies and flora and insects and stuff like that, and you go through and it's just like, it's a whole lot of that, like just huge displays of flowers and things like that when you first walk in. You can actually, it's discouraged, but you can touch the material of the stuff, and it's kind of like a mix between canvas and bathing suit with lights inside. Some of them are mechanized where they move, you know. As you get closer to like where the animals are during the day, they've got lit up animals for those areas. So like there's like some fish that are lit up that are like hanging from like the top archway, something like that. And then they have cheetahs, and they have penguins, and they've got bears, and it's just all this stuff is just like kind of lit up, and some of it moves and stuff, and it was really pretty. The only animals that were actually out were the flamingos, which is fine with me because they're my favorite. I love flamingos, so that was nice to see. You could definitely tell who the alpha was in that group because, man, he was just all over the place, making sure everybody was cool. So there's a lot of people there watching them. But yeah, that was fun. They did actually have a holiday section. So you had to get to like the back of the zoo, and then they had some zip lining going on, and there was like a North Pole area. So like I think they're actually going to have Santa there after Thanksgiving. But they had like big homes, if you will, like a gingerbread home and an ice castle and all this stuff, and reindeer and Christmas trees and all that all lit up. So you know, you do actually get like a holiday section there. I don't know if they did that in the past or not. I have, like I said, I haven't been there in 18 years. So but yeah, that was fun. And then Knoxville, which we already talked about. And then yesterday I went to Cheekwood. I do have a couple pictures, but I don't think they really turned out all that well. The last time I was at the holiday lights was the first year they had the holiday lights, and that was 10 years ago, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So that was really pretty. They did change it up a little bit from the last time I was there, so that was nice. It was not as cold this time around, but it was still cold. I like to get, I'm a member there, so I usually get tickets for the grounds and for the house, just because, you know, you're doing a lot of walking around. You do need to show a ticket to get to the home, and if you need to go to the restroom, you know, you get to stay out of the weather and, you know, go use the loo and then look around at all the fancy schmancy rich people stuff. But yeah, the lights were really pretty for that. And then inside the home, they had like a whole bunch of Christmas trees, and the person who was decorating the home did the Christmas trees for the Obamas, under the Obama administration. So that was a whole, like, they had a whole lot of information about that going on there. I don't think I took any photos of that. The thing is that, like, I don't remember to really take photos for the podcast, and whenever I take photos anywhere, I never look at them again. Like, it's so rare for me to ever look at photos that I've taken, so I don't see the point in me taking them anymore. So it's really hard to find that balance between taking photos for the podcast and knowing that I'm just gonna, once I'm done with it, I'm just gonna throw it out, because I don't, it's just gonna take up space that I, you know, so. But I'll link Cheekwood down below too if you're interested in that. And then that's all the fun stuff. So cat stuff, because it was 18 cats, you're gonna have cat stuff. I believe I talked about Mama before, with her bathroom issues. I'll put it that way. So we're still working on that. She's getting better. She's had 2 procedures because they had to go in there and scrape her out, which was high risk. But at the same time, it was even riskier if we didn't do it. It's actually worse if we didn't do it. She probably wouldn't be here right now if we didn't do it. So it was definitely the better option. So she's doing better. She's still on lactulose 3 times a day. That's a pain. Let me tell you what. We finally figured out a system where it's less mess and all that. But oh my God, gave her a bath today because you give her the medicine and she just foams it out of her mouth. She's like, right? So it's getting all over her, and then she gets dirty, and she just looks like I was calling her the Stray Cat, and I was singing her the Stray Cat Strut song from the Stray Cats from the 80s, if you're familiar with that song. And yeah, she was just looking bad, so I was like, okay, girl, you need a bath. So we finally gave her a bath this morning. She's got a recheck on Tuesday. She was in the room with Gizmo, my black cat, and Gizmo's at the point where she's like, I am done sharing a room with you. You need to get out. So every single time she sees her, she's fighting. So we had to move her out because we got to keep an eye on Mama. Mama's the one that's got the issue right now. because she has to be on a special diet. She's got to have her medicine 3 times a day because we got to keep things moving in the intestines, and we don't know how long we're going to have to do this. I'm hoping it's not indefinitely. So, but yeah, she's got wet food, she's got dry food, and then, like, most importantly, she just needs to really be more on the wet food so we can get the hydration in her. The dry food is the prescription food that she's on. Actually, there's a wet canned food and a dry food that's the prescription. She doesn't like either one because it's chicken flavor, and she doesn't like chicken. You know, when you have all these cats and they all want to be picky about something, it's just... Anyway, so, but the most important thing is to get hydration in her. So it's like we have to keep her separate for a while. So that was just a whole thing. So we moved Gizmo into my son's room today. And so Mama's got the whole space to herself. So that's good because now she's out of my bathroom because my bathroom's a mess and I'm tired of cleaning it every single morning. Goodness gracious. And then, of course, we have another UTI. So Floofy's got another UTI. He just was done going to the vet 2 months ago. So yeah, that's what's going on with that right now. So they're doing what they do now at the vet is they get the urine and then they send it off to a lab. I'm guessing they're so busy now that they have to just outsource some things. So I guess that's just one of the things that they outsource. They did give him, oh crap, he needs to get his meds. They did give him some anti-inflammatory for the weekend, and then he goes back. No, he doesn't go back. We have to wait until they call us, and then we can figure out medicine from there. They're going to call us tomorrow. Yeah. So that's what's going on the cat front. Hopefully everybody else is fine, because that's the focus right now is all that. And then, for me, I've got some health issues that may or may not be coming up soon. So I have an ultrasound tomorrow because I've got I have a fibroid issue, as many of us do, you know, especially at this age. I'm in my mid-40s. So I think they've gotten to the point where they're getting pretty big. So we're doing an ultrasound tomorrow to just see where it is with that, and then I have to do a surgery consult after that. I have a feeling that something's gonna, my bae is gonna be coming out. My poor bae, my poor baby. It's my bee. Yeah. And the doctor was like, you know, you could keep it in there, but then you're just gonna be in all this freaking pain for the next 5-10 years, and do you really want that? And if the fibroids get to where they are, they can start fusing into other parts of your body, and then that's just a whole nother issue. So, you know. And I've never had a surgery before in my life other than wisdom teeth. And that's when I was 16. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, as I'm standing here talking to you, I've got this, it started last night, I have this new pain going on that I'm not used to, and I'm sure that it's uterine related. And as I'm talking to you right now, it's flaring up, and you know, I think she's right. It's like, you know, how long do you want to be in pain? You know, like when you could just, it's not like I'm planning on having any more kids. Especially at this age. Oh, hell F no. That ain't happening. No. So, yeah. Anyway. So that's what's going on with me. So I'll keep you updated on that. And I think that's all I have to talk about today. So this is kind of long. But, you know, my podcasts are usually long anyway. Yeah, I think that's all I have. So, thank you for being here. Thank you to all the new faces that are here. We always have some new people every single time, which is awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you in 2 weeks. I may only do one podcast in December. I don't know yet. I'm wanting to take part of December off, like near the end of the month, going into January, because it's slow anyway, and it's cold, and there's a whole lot going on, and you know, all that stuff. So I think I'm just going to take the second half of December off from podcasting, and then just pick up again in January. But enjoy the vlogmases that are out there. I we'll be going to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I know nothing about them other than the one song they play on the radio all the time. So that'll be interesting to see. We're going to go to TPAC for that. I think that is the second week in December we'll be doing that. I got my son's birthday that same week. Yeah, so that's going to be a busy week. And then, yeah, and then there's the holidays. So, yeah. All right, well, I will see you in a couple weeks, hopefully with another finish or two, and go make something. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.